in Oregon. Kelly?
Last week we introduced you to Jessica. She's a working mother of 3 who's living with HIV. But Jessica is just one of nearly 7,000 Oregonians living with the disease, and that number is still growing. Tonight we introduce you to John. He's an artist and he works for the HIV Alliance. He's also gay and HIV positive.
Whoops.
If you flip through John's sketchbook, you'll notice a theme. Strong, masculine men, not unlike the typical comic book hero.
For hours I would go back through the comics and I would draw what I saw in the comics. Somewhere between in my head and the way it translates onto paper, they come out a little more perfect than they actually really are.
On paper, perfect comes easy to John. But when it comes to his own depiction, John is perhaps less forgiving. John was diagnosed with HIV more than 20 years ago.
It doesn't affect me as much as it used to, but I still have terrible self-image issues because of the weight loss involved.
He says weight loss was brought on by early antiretroviral therapy, a treatment for HIV. Over the years, fatigue became a side effect too. Eventually, it rendered him incapable of working.
It took a lot of soul-searching and work with my then therapist, and we kind of mutually decided that I should just stop trying to fight it and just, give in and retire.
John has since found a new way to occupy his time. He volunteers at the HIV Alliance, and at times, his art is front and center in his efforts.
That's what I was kind of going for with, with the work that I did. The basis for those top 2 pieces was something I did when I was feeling really vulnerable. And so to take that and turn it around and, make it into something that's empowering felt really good. And I was glad I was able to use that in a more productive way than I had originally drawn it. So.
Art and community service. They're just 2 elements of John's personality that determine how he'll spend his day. But there's one more, which, defining or not, can't be ignored.
But about 55 to 60% of our clients are gay men, so that's still a large group of people impacted by HIV.
While HIV is particularly prevalent in the gay community, the HIV Alliance stresses it's a disease that can affect anyone from any demographic, and people must always take proper precautions.
We have every year new female clients, new male clients who are not gay men, new gay men clients. So, it really does impact everybody. We see infections from, youth to 60-year-olds.
Today, HIV isn't always as ostracizing as it once was. John says he's been able to have serodiscordant relationships. In other words, a relationship with someone who is HIV negative.
I've had several relationships with people that were negative, and it didn't have any effect on us at all. So, either physically or mentally and emotionally.
One of the most important things for someone living with HIV is to have a suppressed viral load. And that means that they're taking their medications, the copies of HIV in their body have been suppressed by the medication. And when you do that, your risk of transmission is greatly reduced.
But even with taking medication and practicing safe sex, stigma can still be a real challenge for anyone with the disease.
People hear the letters HIV and they think, oh, that's somebody that's done something they shouldn't do and they got this disease they shouldn't have. And that's got to change or we're never going to get anywhere.
I feel hopeful. I think we know what we need to do. I think we just need to rally around doing it.
Frankenstein instead of what I had in my head.
For John, it's committing his time and his heroic characters. But if art imitates life, perhaps the hero is the artist himself. The HIV Alliance urges the public to get tested and to practice safe sex. You can help the fight, too, by volunteering, donating, and just getting educated. This miniseries continues next Wednesday right here on KVAL. We'll hear from Jacob. He's had HIV for 10 years, and he's getting married this year. His fiancée doesn't have HIV. Live in the studio, I'm Kelly Andersen. We'll be right back.